I can't find a single person that supports gold that actually has more than 50% of their portfolio invested in it. If you look at my Twitter, I noted that Peter Schiff, who's the most notable gold advocate, just admitted that he only has about 5% of his portfolio invested in gold. 95% is invested in something else. Right? He's just trolling, Bitcoiners just to get their attention or something. A lot of times people that are promoting gold are actually owning gold miners. But gold miners are like gold dealers or gold salespeople. They're actually dumping gold on the market to make a commission off of it. They're short gold. They're not long gold. They want to sell it as opposed to save it or hold it. But why? Because some people just haven't really thought about it. When you ask anybody, why do you have gold? They're like, well, for 5,000 years it made sense. Well, do you think deeply about it? It stopped making sense 5,000 years ago. If you study the history, gold's always been a myth. Every single society, there's been a layer of fiat currency wrapped around gold, and then there's been a corruption and a debasement, and it's happened 5,000 times. It was happening 4,000 years ago. It was happening in ancient Sumeria. They were crashing the currencies. Right, so gold is always just a partial thing. It was the best bearer instrument. You're either an investor or you're a saver or you're a speculator. If you're a speculator, buy SHIB Coin 4, Bow Wow, right? Or buy Saylor Moon Coin, right? If you're an investor, choose between Apple and Coinbase, and a crypto exchange or whatever, and then try to parse through all the regulatory issues. If you're a saver and you have pesos, convert them to dollars. That's a stronger asset. And if you have dollars, convert that to Bitcoin. That's a stronger asset. But you see, you're not betting on a company or a product, right? Wherever I am in the civilization, if it's illegal to own Bitcoin in a country, but it's legal to own the dollar, and I'm holding the bolivar, I'm swapping to the dollar, right? And if it's legal, I'm swapping to Bitcoin. And at some point, if you're in Zimbabwe and the currency is going to zero and your family's going to starve to death, even if it's illegal to own the Bitcoin, I'm probably still owning the Bitcoin, right? I mean, at some point, if your choice is starve to death or own something in the gray market or the black market, you gotta do the right thing for your family. So that's why I look at that. Luckily, you don't have to make those decisions in the United States. So I think that the world's gotten more confident. The price reflects the confidence. Everything that's happened since I started buying Bitcoin has been bullish for the asset class. I bought it personally. MicroStrategy bought it. MicroStrategy bought some more. We issued debt to buy more. We issued equity to buy more. We issued junk bonds to buy more. Square bought more. PayPal supported it. Square supported it. Tesla bought more. Congressman supported it. Cynthia Lummis says, thank God for Bitcoin, right? Senators supported it. The governor of Texas supported it. The mayor of Miami supported it. 12 companies came public as Bitcoin miners. Yesterday, one Bitcoin miner priced a $650 million convertible bond. First time you ever seen that. Other Bitcoin miners selling hundreds of millions of dollars of stock, right? So a lot of bullish things happening. An ETF got approved. A second ETF got approved. A third ETF got approved. All good, right? China cracked down on Bitcoin mining. That was a scare, but Bitcoin's come back roaring better than ever. And as I said, China didn't make Bitcoin illegal. They just want to control their capital flows, right? The crackdown on Bitcoin mining was a mistake. It'll cost them $1 trillion. But countries make mistakes, right? I mean, people do irrational things. The world is full of examples of one country does an intelligent thing, another country does an unintelligent thing, right? People that act rationally win. People that act irrationally lose. I just see a string of good things that have happened in the past 12 months. And I can't put my finger on a single, what's the worst thing? China cracked down on Bitcoin mining. What was the result? Hundreds of billions of dollars of capital flowed to the US. And Bitcoin became embraced by the Western world. And now people say, what is the Western world? The Western world is the US dollar, the English language, American law, Western values, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and Bitcoin. There's $100 trillion in currency type instruments around the world and another $100 trillion in credit and there's another $100 trillion in equity, and there's another $200 trillion in property. And so as the governments expand the currency supply, there is inflation. And then when the inflation comes, we tend to bid up the price of assets. So it's like we're monetizing assets. Another way to say it is the house went up in value because an investor bought the house as an investment. They didn't want it to live in. So if I double the money supply and I give the money to a big investor, they go and buy all the houses in your country and they double the price of the house, and you can't afford the house. We've monetized the house, and it's good if you own the house, but it's bad if you're working for cash wanting to buy the house. So as Bitcoin grows, it's demonetizing other assets. So you have a choice now: buy a second home or buy Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoin, the price of housing won't go up so fast. You have a choice: buy gold or buy Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoin, the price of gold will not go up or will go down, right? If you have a choice: buy stocks or buy Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoin, stocks won't go up as fast. And you have a choice: leave your money, buy bonds or buy Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoin, the bonds won't go up so fast. So this is 1 trillion out of 500 trillion in stuff. It's still a small amount. If it doubles every year for the next decade, it'll be like $100 trillion out of 1,000 trillion worth of stuff, right? So it'll still be 10%. But at some point, as it keeps growing, the excess monetary energy flows out of the other assets and it flows into Bitcoin. And what we would say, if we're an economist, is price discovery will return to the other markets, right? And you do a little experiment. If you live in Miami Beach and there's 1,000 houses and I triple the money supply and there's no Bitcoin, and the only thing you can buy is a house, the price of every house goes up by a factor of 3. But if there's Bitcoin and I triple the money supply, maybe you buy Bitcoin with it, and because you only need one house, and the price of the house doesn't go up that fast, and the price of Bitcoin goes up fast. So you see, Bitcoin is like that sponge; it's sopping up inflation. Now, over time, that returns rational behavior to the markets. But it's not jarring. It's not going to happen in the next year. It's a progressive force. Gradually, as the monetary energy flows out of these other assets, they become more affordable. And as the monetary energy flows out of sovereign debt, the interest rates will go up. It's harder to issue debt. You have to pay a higher interest rate. If you have to pay a higher interest rate, you could say, well, isn't this bad for the government because they won't be able to issue as many bonds? Yeah, they'll have to print more money. They won't buy their own bonds. Well, that's bad for inflation.